Let me ask you a rather very controversial question. Okay, a woman, a female, does she have any role or responsibility in her own protection? Do we hold a woman accountable or responsible if something bad happens? Or is it entirely the fault of men? Okay. Now, before you jump the gun and kind of take things out of context, I will try to make you understand. So please don't cherry pick one bit out of context and just blow it out of proportion. Listen to the whole thing that I'm saying. And the purpose for this video is to create some kind of engagement where we have at least a common ground where we can agree on. And I will give you the perspective from not only as being a man, but also being a husband to a wife and a father to a 5-year-old girl who obviously within a few years is going to be a woman. And the reason for bringing this topic up is because of all the nonsense that is going on in India right now, where women are no longer feeling safe. Okay. So now, whose fault is it? Whose responsibility is it? Okay. Now, right off, and by the way, if you see me looking at the screen, it is because I've written down these points. I don't want to forget anything. Okay. I'm just using that as a reference. Okay. Now, first and foremost, let me put it to you this way. I'm not going to be one of those ministers or one of those mindless, I don't know, unforgivable men or human beings who say if a rape takes place, it's a fault of the woman. No, I'm not going to be one of those individuals. And I find this statement the most disrespectful, the most offensive, the most, especially to someone who has been through the tragedy. I mean, how dare you say a statement like this? Like, oh, girls get raped because they wear short skirts, or girls get raped because they want it to happen, or they are tempting you. That's all rubbish. Okay, please, let's use common sense. Yeah, come on, and put yourself in the shoes that if it happened to your daughter, if it happened to your wife, would you say the same thing? And keep this in mind in India, especially in India, because I'm Indian. I focus on India. I'm not going to talk about USA, Russia, Pakistan. Being Indian, I'm going to speak on India. Okay. Most of these women for whom injustice takes place, they were not promiscuous. They were not flaunting their assets or their bodies. They were dressed up decent. They were from decent families. They were doing their work. They were doing their job. And it is in some unfortunate circumstance or in a place that was dark or they were lonely, they took advantage. And we can go on YouTube and just Google search how our Indian men behave when they see a woman, especially who's blonde or who's a foreigner. They will die to take a photograph because they'll act like they've never seen a woman. Okay. However, it's not all men. It's not all Indian men. But it happens very common, very frequently. So when rape takes place, it's unforgivable. It cannot be pardoned, and especially when it happens to young children and all that. These perverted, evil men. I've always said anyone who harms and hurts a child, should be physically and chemically castrated for life, named and shamed, and publicly, they should identify this person so he can never live in society ever again. In some other countries like Yemen and all that, I've seen videos where public execution, they'll just tie you, they'll either hang you and take you through the streets, or they will just put you down after beating up and just put a bullet on your back. I've seen these kind of videos. And I have zero pity, zero empathy for men who harm children and women. Okay, so I'm making my stance clear. But then the question begets, do women have a responsibility? Do women have a role in protecting themselves? Now, let me give you an example so you understand. There has been, I'll not give you the news link, but I'll give you the incident. As you know, I live in Thailand, and Thailand has many many of these parties, and they're called, let me switch off the AC. They're called full moon parties. Full moon parties means the full night when the moon is out at the beach, people will dance to music of the DJ. They will drink alcohol. And even though drugs is not allowed, even though weed is some places allowed, some not allowed, I don't know much about, they still get very high. They get high with drugs and illegal substances and all that. And it is for these hippies and people who believe in getting high. In fact, it is so terrible. I've never been to any of them, so I don't know, but I've seen videos and photos circulating. People, obviously, the girls will wear the skimpiest outfit. Like they'll wear a bikini, like a top, like a bra. Like today when I went shopping, I saw this female who had just only her nipples were covered, rest everything was shown at the market. And they are wearing a bright orange or bright yellow, whatever, or bright pink, like a thong or something that goes between her butt, and it's like a bikini, and she's wearing like a see-through thin towel. I don't know what is the point. Okay. So they wear stuff like this, and they'll wear all the beads and all that, and you will see them drinking to glory. Okay. They'll actually show you alcohol and they'll drink it. 4-5 girls will drink shots after shots after shots. They get so drunk, they can't even walk. They don't even know what they're talking. And we have seen these videos that appear online where they can't even walk, they are falling all over, they're puking, they're lying naked, or they're just falling all over. Okay. So I've seen all these. Now, in some of the cases that came out, there were these females who, they were so wasted, so pissed drunk. Next day when they woke up, they didn't know where they were. They had to literally take people's help to figure out where they were. And in some cases, some of these girls were even raped. They found out they were physically penetrated. Someone had sex with them, and they were not even aware because they were so wasted. And many girls found out they were raped, or someone had sex with them when they were asleep. And obviously, online they said, I got raped, men are like this. So I'm talking of those kind of examples. So now the question which I ask is, don't you have a role and responsibility to make sure that you don't invite such instances? Like, if you wear such outfits where you only cover your nipple, okay, where you only cover the opening between your leg, that's all you're wearing. Okay, that is one. Then you're going to a place where everyone is drunk. Everyone is drunk. Men in the dark. Many of them are taking drugs. Many of them are taking weed. They're all high. You're going there either alone or with a couple of your friends or girls. And you're showing your body and you're dancing and you're wasted. So, don't you have any responsibility? Like the points I've written. See, I have a daughter. Now, if my daughter were to go anywhere out, first is, what is my daughter wearing? Okay? Is she wearing an outfit that accentuates her physique, shows her, breasts, and shows her bum or shows her body? Is it like very tight? Is it revealing? Is she wearing a 2-piece bikini and walking around? I'm asking, just saying. Obviously, I'm not saying that my daughter should wear a Muslim dress like a burqa. What is she wearing is a question. Second is, where is she hanging out? Is she hanging out, let's say, in a movie theater? Is she hanging out in a full moon party? Is she hanging out where, let's say, there's a carnival where all men are there, where it's totally dark, but men are there? Single, hungry, sexually depraved men, or like roadside, unwanted crowds. Is she there? Then the next question, who is she with? Is she alone? Is she with friends of her age? Or is she with an adult? Or is she with a group of responsible people? Who is she with? The next one is, how far is she from home? Is she like 10 kilometers, 20 kilometers? Or is it walking distance? Or is she going somewhere where I would wait for her or at a distance observe her? Then for how many hours? Is she out the whole night? Is she out for half an hour, 1 hour? How many hours? Then the next one is, which is very, very important, does she know how to defend herself? See, like today, I had a conversation with my daughter because someone, it seems, in a school called her ugly. Okay. So, me and my wife sat down and we were discussing with my daughter, if someone calls you ugly, how do you react? If someone calls you, you look like a monkey. Someone says, you have an ugly nose. So, we were role playing. So, I told my daughter, okay, see, mama will say, you look ugly. So, when they said, I'm ugly, I responded in a way, oh, you look horrible with your tattoos. You have big ears. You have a ugly nose. You look like a buffalo. So I showed how to read. And if you're curious, I was just like, when someone said you're ugly, good, good. If someone said, oh, they keep talking and saying, oh, you're this, you're that. Yeah, yeah. Someone keeps talking and just, all I was teaching a ways and means, or someone kept saying like, you are horrible and all that. Yeah, I wish I looked like you, so beautiful you look. So they give you various options. So we have this. In fact, I have the sessions with my daughter, my wife and I, where we tell her where a guy or someone can touch her and where it's not allowed. Like here, no, not allowed. There, not allowed. In between the legs, not allowed. Hugging, not allowed. And even when my daughter, even though she is from the age of 3, I think, when she would come out from the toilet with a towel, I would tell her, oh, Papa's there, he's a man, and we would teach her, okay, this is your private region, this is Papa's private region, this is for a lady, this is for a man. So we used to have these conversations right from a very young age. And obviously the next step is to tell her, if someone does touch you, if someone does hug you, if someone wants to give you a kiss, what do you do? How do you react? If someone wants to give you a kiss, say, give me a kiss, So we have these conversations with our daughter, even though she is right from the age of 3 and now 5, obviously much more. So my question is, does your daughter, does your sister, mother, do they know how to defend themselves? And obviously, you can't defend yourself against someone who is very big and strong. If he's a bodybuilder, if he's 200 kilos and you're only 60, you can't do anything, right? But there are ways and means, right? There are certain areas of your body which are weak. I'm not talking only the private regions in between the legs. Eyes, eyeballs. What about lips? What about tongue? What about ear? And, so you have to train. Now, I'm not saying I'm an expert in all these areas, but a girl has certain responsibilities. A girl has certain roles where she has to make sure that she is protected. And it is the role of the parents, mother, father, the brother. You have to, like, I'm going to be sending my daughter for Muay Thai classes, actual physical contact. Why? Because if tomorrow we can't be with her 24/7. So tomorrow she's alone and a guy misbehaves with her. She has to defend herself, right? In some way, shape or form. If something bad has to happen, you can't prevent it. But then you can at least take preventive measures. You can at least have something, some weapon or something with you, which you can carry in your purse, whether it's black pepper spray or whether it's a sharp object. See, I'm not trying to pretend that I know all the answers, or I'm not trying to act like, oh, my daughter is foolproof, nothing's going to happen to her. We just do not know when tragedies can take place, when bad things are going to happen. It can literally happen when you're driving your scooter or going for a walk, and if there's a predator, if there's someone who's dangerous and he's hell-bent, like a stalker or someone, to hurt, harm someone that you know or even you can't prevent it. They will do what they have to do. So I believe if they are determined to do whatever it takes to hurt, harm, you have to take the responsibility to make sure whatever you can, you prevent. I'll just give one final example. I had this client who was a former beauty pageant female, and she also did a lot of Instagram posts, advertisements, Facebook. She appeared on a lot of ads. So she was a very hot, beautiful Indian girl based in Dubai. One day when she was walking out of the shopping mall in the dark area, she had parked her car. Suddenly a van pulled up, and immediately one guy jumped out, grabbed her and pushed her into the van. 3, 4 guys. And because she knew kickboxing, because she knew boxing, kickboxing, and because she was physically fit, she managed to fight it out. And yes, she had an object in her bag, which is slightly sharp, and she managed to puncture the neck of one of the guys and kick her way out. And by the time they ran off, and she screamed. Obviously, she screamed and all that. So people from far off could hear. So they went off. They did catch the guys later on because obviously there were multiple cameras in different areas. So the point I'm trying to make here is, you see, she did her part of protecting herself. She was physically fit. She did take part in, Muay Thai or kickboxing or whatever, boxing. So that is why she got saved. But just imagine if she was a petite female, just beautiful, she was weak, then whose responsibility is it? Yes, what they did is very wrong, but she has to protect herself, right? So I always tell my wife, if tomorrow one day I die or I'm not there, our daughter has to protect herself, right? So anyway, this is what I wanted to share with you. Like I said, in no way, shape or form am I mocking or putting down the victims or saying that, oh, it's your fault. Girls have to be taught. Like, some of these serial killers or serial rapists, what they say, I wanted to teach her a lesson. See, remember, predators, no? They read body language. They read your facial features. They read the way you walk, the way you talk. You're giving them signals. They can figure out whether you're petite. That is why if you see someone who is strong and gutsy, someone who's not afraid, you can make out from their body language. If you have dogs as pets, pets can read your body language. You can make out a dog that is ready to attack you. And that is why when dogs, if you've seen my other videos where I walk, when a dog is rushing towards me, running, I stand my ground. Just watch the videos of Caesar Milan. He takes up a pose. He stands in a particular way. The dog immediately, no matter how ferocious, they back off and they're like, oh, okay. This, the body language speaks. So your facial features, your eyes, your breathing, your body language, all that matters. And that is an education we must give young men and women. Anyway, I wanted to share this thought-provoking question with you. And like I said, I don't blame the girls who have been innocent, who never gave out those signals or never dressed up in a way that was provocative and went through such a horrific crime. I don't blame them. But they still do have a role and responsibility to protect themselves and their parents, brothers, sisters, whatever. You need to educate yourself to protect yourself. And yes, like those questions I gave you. What are you wearing? Where are you going? Who is with you? Do you have weapons to protect yourself? So, all this matters. Like they say, practical education, street smart, common sense, So yeah, feel free, comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. I would like your input. And I'm just hoping that we can do whatever it takes to educate our young men and women, especially our women, and do whatever it takes to protect them. Because if nobody is protecting you, you have to protect yourself. Anyway, good, bad, ugly, feel free, comment down below. This is me signing off. Ciao.